The brilliant charity Education Support have released their Teacher Wellbeing Index for 2024, and I thought I'd go through some of the key findings, and it does not make for pretty reading. 78% of teachers are stressed. That increases to 84% of senior leaders. 50% of staff consider their organisation's culture has a negative effect on staff's mental health and well-being. Obviously, I always say teaching should be the best job in the world when you get the environment right in a school. And from this, we're taking that sort of half of schools aren't getting that right. However, half are, which is what I always say to teachers who message me saying that they don't know if they can carry on doing the job of teaching. My advice is always go and try teaching at another school. The right school is out there for every single teacher. It might just take a while to find it. 38% of staff say their schools do not support employees who have mental health and wellbeing problems. Over 3/4 of staff have experienced physical, psychological or behavioural symptoms due to their work. Just over 1/3 of staff have experienced a mental health issue in the past academic year. The staff wellbeing score for teachers is lower than the national population in all England, Wales and Scotland. Workload is still a huge issue. Teachers saying their lack of work-life balance is also a concern, but that's been the case for a number of years. The one thing that has increased in the past year is the impact of students' behaviour. 57% of teachers saying their pupils and students have become more disruptive. 63% of staff feel they've experienced more incidents of challenging behaviour. Just over half of staff saying students have become more verbally abusive. 29% saying students have become more physically abusive. And 82% of teachers and education staff said challenging behaviours by pupils and students have increased this academic year, which has impacted their own mental health and well-being. And it's not just students' behaviour. 43% of staff feel complaints from parents and guardians have increased. 1/3 saying parents have become more verbally abusive. 6% saying they've become more physically abusive. And 70% of teachers and staff who said these challenging behaviours have increased say that that's negatively impacted their mental health and well-being. And this, I feel, is really concerning. And this is something that needs to change because it feels like parents, no one holds them to account, and so they can get away with abusing staff like this, which in my view is completely unacceptable. There are also some findings here talking about how little support teachers and schools feel they get from other public bodies. I would recommend reading the full report from Education Support because I think for a lot of teachers it will help realising that they are not the only one that goes through all of these struggles. It does make for grim reading, and it further shows why we continue to have a recruitment crisis and an even worse retention problem. I wish there was some sort of quick magical solution to this, but it isn't just one issue. There are so many things that need to change, and it will take time. It's going to take so much more investment in education, especially around SEND provision. But I think so many schools need structural change to really help and support so many staff with their mental health and well-being. But what I will say is if you are a teacher that is struggling with your mental health, please do reach out to Education Support. There's always someone on the end of that telephone. I'll put the number in the link of the description of this video, and do reach out because I feel it can really help.